Hi renovators. Sorry if I'm a little if I'm a little off today, feeling a little under the weather, but still gonna get the this webinar out and give you a little information for your Saturday morning. So today I want to talk about something which is part and parcel of buying and selling properties, which is the building and pest inspection. Now the building and pest inspection should go smoothly, it should be fine, but from personal experience it can be an absolute nightmare and can cause a lot of stress and a lot of grief. So we've got 7 points that basically are our tips of how to handle the building and pest so that it goes smoothly like it should. Point number 1 is plain and simple, deliver a good product. If you do your renovation to a high standard, you don't cut corners, you make sure that all of the issues are tackled and fixed by professional trades, then why would you have a problem when it comes to the building and pest? You won't. Simple as that. So make sure that you don't cut corners and that you do deliver a good product. If you cut corners and you think you're covering something up, there's a high chance that the professional that comes in to do that inspection is going to find it, and if they do, you're going to have to try and explain it or potentially fix it at a later date at a much higher cost, which all of that will cause you a lot of grief. Point number 2, be open with the buyer and preempt any potential issues. Now, if you've listened to us before, you know that our strategy is to sell our own properties. This comes in quite useful here because you're involved directly with the buyer rather than through a real estate agent. So when you're going through the house, you can have a discussion with the buyer about any small bits and pieces that might come up in the building and pest. There shouldn't be anything big, but you're working with an old property. So for instance, we've sold 2 houses with asbestos roofs. Both times we've had the roof treated and sealed, we've had it repainted and made sure that it's in perfect condition. But if we hadn't been there to discuss this with the buyer, and suddenly at building and pest they find out, oh, there's an asbestos roof, they don't know if it's good or bad or broken or what's going on with it. So really make sure you've got to preempt all of the issues or potential issues with the buyer. Get them to fall in love with the house. Once they've fallen in love with the house, discuss the issues before the building and pest. It's really important, the timing on that one. Number 3, be prepared with all of your paperwork. Again, very, very important, and it comes part and parcel with getting in those professional trades. For instance, again, the asbestos roofs. If we hadn't had them done by a licensed trade person, we wouldn't have had any paperwork to show the buyer to prove that the roof has been treated and sealed properly. If I'd gotten up there and sprayed that myself, I don't know if the buyer would have felt so comfortable purchasing a house with asbestos roofs. This comes with everything. Waterproofing, your electrical certificates. If you have the paperwork to give to your buyer to show them that things have been fixed and addressed properly, it's going to make them feel a lot easier about purchasing your property. Make sure you're present for the building and pest inspection is the next point. If you're not there, all you're getting is hearsay. You're not actually hearing in person and seeing in person what the problems or what the building and pest inspector thinks the problems are. So make sure you're there so that you can actually hear what the potential issues are, and then you can find out the best way to tackle them straight away. If you are present, the next point is very, very important. Do not argue with the building and pest inspector. If you argue with the building and pest inspector, all you're going to do is lose credibility in front of the buyer. If there is a point that you disagree with, then take that point, go get your professionals, get their opinion, get the paperwork, and take it back to the buyer and say, look, that's an opinion of a building and pest inspector. This is from a builder, and I welcome you to get your own builder in to give you his opinion as well. Point number 6, be reasonable with your buyer. Be reasonable, be open to fixing problems. If there is an issue that you missed, you have to fix it. If you don't fix it, or you're unreasonable, then you'll probably lose the contract. And I say be reasonable. If it's something that is not a real issue, then you have to sort of approach it very carefully. Bring in your professionals, get their opinion, show the buyer the paperwork, and as I said, invite them to bring in their professionals as well. Get them to bring in a plumber or a builder to get a second opinion. Because if you're in the right and you haven't cut corners and you haven't done anything wrong, most of the time that second opinion is going to back you up, and then they'll be okay. The last point, and the most important point when it comes to a building and pest inspection, stay calm. Do not panic. It's part and parcel with the real estate game. So don't let building and pest stress you out. As long as you follow these previous points, you're going to have everything in order and you're going to be ready to go on the inspection. It's not going to be a problem at all. So that's it for this week. That's our 7 top points to handle a building and pest inspection. Guys, if anyone is interested, we are doing a massive giveaway over the next 2 weeks. We've got a $500 Bunnings voucher. All you have to do is check out our Instagram and our Facebook. It's got all the instructions on how to enter into the competition. So please get onto that. It finishes I think on the 15th of December. Otherwise, if anyone's interested in following a bit more of our information, please check out our blog or our Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, have sort of up-to-date ideas and renovation updates and all sorts of other content that we're putting out. So otherwise, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.